Welcome. Sorry, that came out weird. I should leave that in. Welcome to InterPartyConflict, the podcast where we answer your questions so you can have the best tabletop gaming experience possible. My name is Gabe.
My name is Jeff.
And we're going to answer your questions today. But first, I have a question. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Actually, I had a decent morning. Well, I slept in, so can't really say it was morning. But that's part of the good part is I got to get some sleep. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately, and made some coffee and played a little bit of computer games and stuff. So not terrible today. So cool. How about yourself?
Pretty good. We were supposed to have a plumber come today, and they didn't show up. They didn't call. Usually they call like they usually wake me up about 2 hours after I fall asleep because I sleep late. I go to bed very, very late. But they didn't call. So I guess I'm glad they didn't wake me up, but they were supposed to. It wasn't for anything important. It was just kind of like a routine check thing, but
sure. Yeah.
Still, I wonder if maybe I got the day wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. That's that whole thing about we'll see you between the hours of 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. the next day.
Yeah. But in positive news, I've been eating really well. I don't know if you've been eating really well since the quarantine started. I haven't really been eating out much in a while. I've been cooking a lot more. So I've been making some really good stuff, I guess.
Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat. I'm not gonna risk it for fast food. I'm not gonna go out there and risk getting sick just so I can get a chicken quesadilla from Taco Bell.
Sure.
Yes, those are delicious, but it's it's not worth it. And I've actually lost 12 pounds.
Oh my, seriously?
Seriously.
I think I found some of those, Jeff.
No, I'm not doing anything different. I'm not exercising anymore. If anything, I'm less active.
Yeah.
Although technically I'm also not drinking. I'm not drinking alcohol as much anymore. Just because I'm not going out to buy beer or wine or anything. I don't go out. When I go grocery shopping, I just get what we need and get out of there.
Sure.
So I guess there's that too. But between alcohol and fast food, I've been just carrying around 12 pounds of just beer and fast food, and that's it. Nothing else has changed. So that's physically 12 pounds worth of fast food and beer were just hanging out, and now they're gone because I just haven't been consuming that in a long time.
Yeah.
So that'll tell all of you out there that it's if you want to lose weight, you should be exercising. It's just good for your health in the long run. So I need to be doing at least more cardio or something to keep my heart healthy. But just get rid of fast food. You don't need it.
Yeah. Everybody always says that if you want to lose weight, just stop drinking pop, stop drinking soda.
That's never going to happen, Gabe.
My response is no.
Right.
I will find some other way. If I have to hack off a limb to lose some weight, I will do that before I stop drinking pop.
Gabe, if there are people who get diabetes from drinking a lot of soda and have to amputate one of their limbs,
I've got my work cut out for me.
That's a real thing. That's a real possibility, sir.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll wait for science to come up with some other solution.
Waiting for science. Okay. Do you know what country we live in? Sorry. Let's not get political.
All right. So, Jeff, I want you to imagine that you've defeated a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a giant room full of treasure.
Yeah.
You've already gotten through the dungeon. There were some close scrapes, some traps, all sorts of crazy stuff. But you got there, you defeated the dragon, you're standing atop a giant pile of gold, and you're looking around at all the cool treasure that you've just gotten. And you notice you're really thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
You see, speaking of soda, you're really thirsty. It's not a soda bottle, but you do see there's a little glass bottle, and oh my goodness, it just looks so refreshing. And it's just sitting right there.
Yeah, I'm parched. So let's take a swig of that.
Okay, so you uncork the stopper, you take a nice swig, and things get a little fuzzy. You actually don't quite remember how you got here. In fact, the more you think about it, the more you think that you've always been here. And you look around, you notice there's like a very, very large-sized throne over on one side of the room. And so you go and you sit down, you look around, and you think to yourself, yeah, this feels right. And so you retire indefinitely to your new home, the Dragon's Hoard.
That's cool. It's like a potion of belonging.
Oh yeah, there you go. That sounds so much more wholesome. So today's magic item was submitted by Joe S. via Discord, and magic item is the Potion of False Memories. The creator of this potion must be an alchemist of substantial power and also have access to mid-level arcane magic. So a wizard, a sorcerer, or an artificer, something like that. This potion has a false magic aura about it that has a DC 16 to be detected on attempts to discern the nature of this odd potion. Below 16, tell the players they recognize this as a potion of whatever you want. Potion of healing, potion of, energy resistance or whatever. If they successfully determine that this is a cursed potion, they don't know what it does, but know that it has an extremely well-hidden intent. This potion, once ingested, attempts to change the player's memory of a significant event. If the player does not make a DC 16 intelligence check, they believe a completely false reality as if they had just lived it. This false reality can be at the DM's discretion, but may include believing the local noble owes the player a gambling debt of insert amount gold pieces. The noble will not pay up, obviously, causing problems depending on the player. Another option, vividly remembering being arrested in the town or city of insert name here, and then escaping and being pursued out of town, presumably very fearful of a return. And another example, they believe that they are actually completely responsible for a recent death or murder, having very realistic memories of the event. They may even turn themselves in and confess depending on the character involved. The character will resist any type of attempt to make them believe the memories aren't real. Only a greater restoration or wish can remove the memory, but will leave a blank space that will itch at the player's subconscious unless they get the potion creator to confess to the memory modification.
Oh.
So there you go.
That's neat.
That is neat. We haven't really gotten a ton of items that are potions. Like we've gotten a few. We covered Grendel extract last episode, and then I think we had a potion, I don't know, a few months before that. But I'm always excited when we get like a consumable, and this is a really interesting consumable.
Yeah.
So you drink it, and then if you fail an intelligence check, I would actually probably make that a save instead of a check, but whatever the case. If you fail that, you believe something that isn't true.
That's pretty cool. That just, gives the DM so many options.
Yeah.
It could be used to kind of steer the party in one way or another. It can be kind of used for like a little bit of railroading, but
could be.
You could also just use it just for funsies. Wouldn't it be interesting if if the paladin thinks they murdered somebody,
sure,
and then they immediately have to turn themselves in because of their code or whatever, and then the rest of the party has to figure out how to prove them not to be innocent or whatever.
Sure. I had it wasn't quite the same thing. It's not that my memory was modified, but when I was playing as my character Ichi, there was a point where I was put in prison because all the evidence pointed towards me assassinating this prince, and I didn't know. I had no memory of it. And then eventually the party was able to use some high-level magic or something to prove that it was not me. I think they used a spell to speak to my sword, and my sword told them that it was not. It was somebody else. Somebody else was wielding my sword and whatever. But like, I mean, that's a very similar thing. What if instead I had memories of killing the dude? And like my party tried breaking me out, but they didn't know that I was innocent. I didn't know that I was innocent. So it's definitely something that could lead to some issues. Yeah.
That makes me think of the whole talking to your sword thing. Makes me think of like it's the thing in Harry Potter. It's in the happens in the Goblet of Fire.
Okay. Yeah.
Where they like there is a spell that you can cast on a wand to make it like reveal the last spell it cast.
Sure.
And then later on they like it's like sort of in a weird way used on Voldemort's wand, so you see like the basically like the echoes of the last few people that he's killed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of almost like a really kind of cool mechanic. That'd be a cool spell, like just a regular spell. It's like you can cast it on a tool or a weapon or something, and it will make like an image or something of the last thing that it killed, or like the last door that it unlocked or something.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. One thing in this item in the last line that I think is really interesting is that if a greater restoration or wish removes the memory, you're still left with this like blank space in your mind that won't quite go away.
Yeah,
that makes me
that
think
a lot.
Yeah, that's really cool. That makes me think of in the Adventure Zone, in the first Adventure Zone campaign, small spoilers for like 5 episodes in, there's these powerful artifacts at play, and at some point measures were taken so that the general public would not know about these artifacts. And the way that manifests is that if someone knew about them, if someone had gotten around these magical protections, if they came to you, Jeff, and they were going to talk to you about the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet, which is the first of the artifacts that these player characters interact with. If someone came up to you and said, "Hey, have you seen the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet?" All you would hear is, "Hey, have you seen..." Okay. They would just hear static. And not only that, but if, let's say you had seen the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet in the past, your mind would probably, if you were just thinking about it one day, your mind would kind of just like slide right off it. Your mind would sort of fill in the gaps as if like, oh no, that was nothing. I don't remember exactly what that was, but that was nothing. And then the only way to get around it is you have to drink, kind of like this magic item here. You have to drink like a specialized liquid that this organization is able to produce. And so once you drink that, then all of the memories of these things come rushing back to you, because now your mind has been unlocked to all this stuff. But I love the idea of something leaving like a hole in your memory that you cannot explain.
Right.
And whenever you try to think about it, like it causes some sort of an unnatural disturbance.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Although I'll say that staticky thing, that's a reference that Steve has been trying not to spoil for me.
Okay.
That you now just spoil. Like, and again,
I mean, it's only a few episodes into the
right. Well, I mean, the staticky thing is like the reveal that it's it's hiding the artifacts.
No, I mean, it's maybe one episode after. It's all like, I mean, it's all part of the exposition of the campaign.
Yeah, it's like the main. It's sort of like the main thing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like I'm not saying, oh gosh, Gabe, you spoiled it for me.
Sure. Like, there's quite a bit more secret that I did not reveal.
Right. So. Yeah. No. I trust that you left the good bits out. I don't know when I'll get around to listening to that whole series.
It's real good, Jeff.
I know. It just it takes me so long to like get into a thing sometimes that like, and then like I'll stop, and then I'll have to be like, well, I want to get back into it, but I should start from the beginning again. And then it's like I have to work my way through it again. I really should just like start 5 episodes in.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I think this is a really neat item. I like the idea of things that can alter players' memories. Of course, there are ways that this could be used nefariously. You could steal a bunch of stuff and then, I don't know, force it down the throat of the shopkeeper. I don't know. But then again, this doesn't really let you as the player dictate what the memory is. Now it says it can be at DM's discretion. Maybe there's a way that you could manufacture one of these that has a specific memory that it implants. But I don't know. I'm not sure which I would like more, being able to implant specific memories or have it always be something random. If it's something random, it almost makes this feel like this isn't really something that's created, at least not intentionally. It's just kind of something that every now and then, oops, a potion of false memories occurs.
Yeah. Ooh. It's like when an alchemist makes a potion, they sometimes can accidentally lose a memory and it goes into the potion.
Oh, I like that.
And so like there's an alchemist somewhere who just like has like super duper amnesia because he keeps making these potions.
He forgot what happened when he did it the first time.
Right, yeah. So like, and he doesn't remember, like he won't remember making it or something. You know, like it's just like it. So it's just like this real kooky crazy guy that makes potions or whatever.
Sure.
And then like people get his memories.
Here's an idea for a plot hook. Party comes into town, and everyone, maybe not everyone, but like lots of people throughout town have started having very strange memories that they can't explain, all of which are kind of similar. And then it turns out that it's because there was a potion maker that went through town fairly recently, and they are all getting his memories. Like all the people that bought those potions are getting memories from the same guy.
Ooh. Or like an entire town is the memories of like a demon or something that like, so like the alchemist is using like demon's blood or something as a reagent, and like it's transferring the memories, or maybe like the memories of like the feelings or something of a demon, and it's just like affecting a town. Like everybody just starts screaming all the time because they're just like remembering these horrible things that they've done, when in reality it's just, oh, it's a demon because they do demon things.
Sure. No, I really like that. Or Jeff, here's an idea. At the end of the adventure, it turns out that the whole adventure was an implanted memory.
Ooh. Yeah. Which makes you think like, okay, like they're getting experience points, but are they getting experience points from their actual experiences or for somebody else's experiences?
That's a good question.
So it's like you have these potions that give you these false memories that can cause you agony, but it gives you a boost in experience.
Ooh, okay.
But like experience towards something that like not your choice. So you're drinking
levels of warlock.
Yeah, exactly. So you drink the memories of a fighter, and you get a level of fighter.
That's like pretty cool, actually.
Like a temporary thing. Yeah, that'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Like you can drink memories of people, get a level up of that person's class for like 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah. That's a really cool idea. I think that's way beyond the scope of this item.
Yeah, sure.
That's really cool.
No, that's why I like these magic items that we get, because they do get our brains working.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for our magic item for today. Once again, that was the Potion of False Memories, submitted by Joe S. via Discord. Thank you, Joe S.
Thank you.
Jeff, if anybody wanted to submit magic items for the Dragon's Hoard, or questions for us to discuss, or stories for the funeral pyre or retirement village, how would they get those to us?
They could send us an email at interpartyconflict@gmail.com, or join us on our Interparty Discord at bit.ly/interpartydiscord.
That's true. And because I've been cooking and eating so much lately, I made a new channel on the Discord called Dinner Party Conflict.
My God, I just saw that.
Which is for if anybody is eating anything cool or has found any cool recipes or whatever, I would love to hear about it. So...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go any further, we do have a giveaway today. We're giving away a copy of Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 1, courtesy of Crit Academy. And Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 2 is pretty close to being done. I believe Justin might have even sent it out to his patrons already. So it
nice.
Should be coming out pretty soon if it's not out yet by the time this episode goes out. So yeah. Be excited for Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 2. It's great. As is Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 1. For anybody who's not familiar, Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 1 is a collection of 25 character concepts, 25 encounter concepts, monster variants, magic items, player tips, DM tips from the Crit Academy podcast. I helped write it. I also helped write Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 2. There's some great stuff in there. So anyway, we are giving away free copies of the first volume every week, and courtesy of Crit Academy, of course. And so, Jeff, who is our winner this week?
This week's winner is Collins B.
Winner! Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yes, congratulations, Collins B. You should be getting that in your email pretty soon. Be sure to leave Crit Academy a review. If you leave them a review on, DM's Guild or DriveThruRPG or wherever, it will help them get further traffic. It'll help, get the word out. It'll also let them know what they can do to continue to make great products in the future. And of course, if you have any specific complaints or comments, you could also send them to me, since I did a part in making that as well. So yeah, thank you very much to Crit Academy for facilitating this. Thank you, Collins, for entering. Jeff, if anybody wanted to be like Collins and win a free copy of this awesome supplement, how would they enter?
They could send us an email at interpartyconflict@gmail.com, but with unearthed tips and tricks in the subject line.
Yes, and then whatever you want in the body.
Yep.
Next up, I would like to thank all of our wonderful patrons for making this show happen. Patreon is an online platform. You can pledge to donate a certain amount of money per month to the creator of your choice. And we have a Patreon campaign at patreon.com/InterPartyConflict. If you head there, you can check out the various rewards that we have. We've got several different tiers. We've got rewards for as low as $1 a month, as much as $10 a month. We've got outtakes. We've got fantasy fiction that I wrote in the past that I'm turning into to audio fiction as well. We've got a monthly bonus podcast. We recently put out an episode where Jeff and I talked all about time travel in movies, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we might be doing another similar episode pretty soon, because I have more to say about time travel. I'm sure Jeff does as well. We've also got a monthly Roll20 game that I'm going to be running pretty soon. I think a week after this episode goes out is the day that I'm aiming for. So hopefully that works for everybody else. We've got some cool stuff in there. So if you want to help out the show and get some cool stuff in return, you can go to patreon.com/InterPartyConflict. Check out the rewards, see if anything appeals to you. You can help out the show and, get some cool stuff. So thank you, of course, to all of our wonderful patrons, especially nowadays. We totally understand that money might be a bit tighter than it usually is. So we're especially thankful to everybody who has kept their pledge. If anybody wanted to cancel their pledge, we would understand. But I'm glad that so far, I don't think anybody has. So thank you very much to everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot.
Yes. And then one more thing, check out the other podcasts on the Crit Nation Fellowship. Check out Crit Academy at critacademy.com. Justin, Ian, and Brandon create new and reusable content for players and DMs alike. Also check out Brute Force and Ignorance. They are an actual play podcast on the network. And check out D&D Character Lab, where Garen and Dan made characters every week and pitted them against each other to debate whose characters were better. Enough of all the admin. Let's get into some questions, Jeff.
Okay, our first question comes from Jeff T on Discord. It's a pretty good name. This one on Discord. Keeping a full campaign going is hard. What is the best way to find 5 or 6 people who are going to show up consistently for that many sessions? Does it depend on the quality of the game, or is it entirely based on the people?
Yeah.
Oh, there are so many factors.
Yes. If someone has an easy answer for this, I would love to hear it, as would literally everyone in the hobby would love to find out that secret. There are a lot of factors. I'm going to just start this off by saying I firmly believe it does not depend on the quality of the campaign.
I'm sure that could be that is a factor, but it's not going to, that's not going to be the only thing you have to worry about.
If your group falls apart, it is most likely not. I mean, it might be. There is a chance that maybe your game is bad. I guess it's possible.
Just terrible.
The quality of the game is probably not top on the list.
Right.
I'm sure there are some groups where, there have been some groups I've been in where I'm like, this game just isn't really fun, so I'm going to just kind of dip out. That being said, there have also been some terrible games that I've stuck with for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's somebody out there that has run a game so good that the players are like, wow, I really can't make it next week, but this game is so good, I have to rearrange. I have to do whatever I can to rearrange my schedule so that I can make it to this game.
Well, yeah, when you get like a good cliffhanger on the end of a session or something like that,
I suppose
sometimes you're like, oh, I really need to make this next session.
Yeah, I feel like it is most likely some other factor. Probably the people, probably the, circumstances. There's so, like Jeff said, there's so many factors that go into this. So I think that the biggest factor is probably going to be the people, but you can't really control that. Different people are going to have different things going on in their lives. Each individual person is going to have a number of things pulling them in different directions. And everybody's going to have different priorities. I suppose you could have a talk with everybody at the beginning and discuss what your priorities are, I guess. But I feel like it would be hard to do that without coming off as really, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Really controlling, I guess.
Right, yeah. The DM shouldn't be dictator.
Okay. That's pretty good. I would love to commit to a game, but I personally, I just feel like if a person is like, all right, how committed are you to this game?
Right.
I'm probably going to be less committed to that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Like, I mean, there to a certain point, yes, you need to be upfront. Like, I want to do this. I want to see this through. If if you guys are sort of on the fence about making this a weekly thing or whatever, let me know. We can try and work out maybe doing like every other week or something.
Yeah,
or like a changing schedule. Like it'll be one of these 2 days every week, but we'll go back and forth depending on what people have available or something.
Sure. As much as I hate to advocate for this ever, a while ago talking with Justin from Crit Academy, he told me something that really made me have to sit and think about it. And that is, I've complained in the past about paid DMs.
Okay. Like
games where the group, you have to essentially pay admission. Like every week you pay the dungeon master a certain amount of money. I don't like that for a lot of reasons, but one advantage that Justin told me is every single one of those people is going to show up.
Sure.
And I understand that because when you put, video games. If I get a video game for free, I might play it. I might not. If I pay for a video game, I am definitely going to play it. Or at least I'm much more likely to have played it, I guess. I have plenty of games in my backlog.
Yeah. If it's a subscription-based game, then you have that like, okay, I should be playing it, otherwise I'm just wasting money.
Yeah.
But then again, Gabe, I don't know if you've ever had a gym membership.
I haven't, but
I don't mean that as a jab at you or in any way.
I am here. Let me put it this way, Jeff. I am currently paying for a gym membership.
But they're all closed right now.
Oh, right. Okay. We're sorry. Right now, I guess I don't actually know. I don't think I've been charged for the gym membership for a while, but
that'd be shady of them.
I guess not right now, but quarantine notwithstanding.
Yeah, I definitely had a gym membership once that I think it went like 2 months without going and was paying for it. I was like, oh god, it wasn't like a super expensive one, but
sure,
it was just sort of like, oh dang it, So, there's definitely that's not going to solve the problem, but that's a good point though, where you have that sort of financial incentive.
Sure, it's not going to solve it, but if someone is willing to pay for a game, that probably means that they are more committed to being there.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So makes it maybe, I don't know if this will help your, because you have an aversion to it, to like the whole paid to play thing, but maybe it's like, maybe you could do it like, all right, you pay so much per session or something like that, but then like at the end of the campaign, if you were there for every session, for every session you were there, you get a certain amount back or something. So like you say like, okay, everyone put up $100. Yeah. And then at the end of the campaign, you divide $100 by every session that there was, and then for every session that person was there, they get that much money back. So they have, so that way it's not like, and then if it's a group of friends or something, you say, okay, the money that is kept for that goes towards like food and stuff for the next time we play or whatever. You can keep it within the group.
Sure.
But it is sort of a a bit of an incentive to keep coming.
Not to make this a discussion about paid DMs, but like I'll just say there are things that would make me feel better and worse about it. So I've changed slightly on my stance compared to like when we first covered it, like way back in episode like 3 or something. I still don't like it. However, I'm not saying that it is unanimously bad.
Sure.
Just that's my gut reaction is I just don't. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Right.
So that's one possible thing, but I think there's a lot of baggage that comes with that. I think that number one, the dungeon master needs to be committed to finishing the campaign as well. Like I know there have been times where I've tried to get a game running, but then after a few sessions, I'm trying to back out, and that's bad. That's definitely not a good sign.
Right.
Not that anything was wrong with the people or the campaign, but like sometimes, I'm busy. I'm busy with this podcast. I'm busy with other stuff. And so, the dungeon master, you yourself, whoever you are, whether you are the dungeon master, whether you're a player, you need to be committed to the game, and everybody else has to be committed to the game too. But like, you can only change you. So you need to be focused, and I don't know, there does have to be some sort of talk at some point about expectations for the campaign. And I think that probably the biggest thing is try not to view a finished campaign as something that is so important as to cast aside any other things. Like if the important thing is that you're having fun. Yeah. I've had, like 3 or 4 campaigns that I can look back and be like, yeah, we finished that campaign. And that's cool. But I've got lots of other experiences that I played in that we didn't finish a campaign, but we still had a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, it would have been cool if it was, there was closure and it was all wrapped up in a nice little bow. But if you are getting to that point by starting off and being like, all right, guys, you need to be committed to this game. We all need to put, no, you can't change your job shift until this campaign is over. Not that I think anybody is doing that, but if your first concern is having fun, second concern is completing a game, that's a good, just be aware of where that should be in your priorities.
Yeah.
It should definitely be in there, but maybe I think that some people put more value in it than it should be.
Sure, yeah. I think the fact that it's hard to complete a campaign does kind of contribute to the difficulty of completing a campaign, because everybody knows like, oh, we're never going to make it through this. And so like they think they already have that in their minds of there's less commitment,
Sure.
like, because it's like we're never going to make it to session 3 with these characters. Why should I put more effort into creating a backstory? Like it's just going to be, I'm just going to put that, character sheet in a binder and it's going to sit there for the rest of eternity. Like, so it's, if you're not so worried about whether or not you're going to finish a campaign, I feel like you'll have like a little bit less, anxiety about it, I guess.
Okay. Another thing that I would suggest is try and scale back what a campaign means to you, like a full campaign. Because let's say, let's say this is back in 3rd edition days, I would have considered a full campaign to be, first level to 20th level. That's a full campaign.
Right.
Then when I played in 4th edition, I was in a campaign where we had the story came to a natural end when I think we got to like level 8, and then the DM wanted to do like one big final adventure, so he jumped us up to like level 12, and then that's where the story ended. And that to me, that feels exactly as complete of a campaign as Jay's Eberron campaign, where we went from 1st to 20th level. It was less time, but it still feels like a complete story. So maybe pick out one of these, if you're going to be doing like, I don't know, Curse of Strahd or something like that. In your mind, just think of that as being a full campaign. If you finish it, awesome. That's a full campaign. Maybe you might want to continue on after that. Think of that as a sequel campaign. That's not the same campaign. It's a different one. Feel free to make some changes to the world, to the characters between those two. Try and separate them in your mind so that instead of constantly chasing after this relatively unattainable, huge, long 20th level thing, it doesn't have to be that. It can be a smaller, okay, we finished this complete story. Now we're done. You know, and then be happy with that instead of making it be something much larger.
Yeah. I can see from a perspective of, at least from my perspective as a player and a bit of a power gamer, you know, like wanting to get to that 20th level, like wanting a campaign to go that far so I can get to that 20th level that I'm always like building my characters around. Like, okay, at 20th level, these, like, I'm going to have 6 levels of this class, 4 levels of that class, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, if never getting to that point ever,
yeah,
you know, it's like, but I want to keep going with this character so I can get to that point.
Sure.
But, you know, I just, you know, just being able to play.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is a treat. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you do kind of think of a campaign as a level thing, not necessarily a story thing.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. Right. I'm just saying that you'll be happier if you try to aim away from that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But as far as finding people, it really just depends on the people that you know. You can, I don't know, put out a Craigslist ad or something for, like, I'm looking for a D&D group and I want people to be committed to the game. But if you're starting with friends first and D&D gamers second, I feel like that's going to have a better foundation than if you start with, hey, I don't know you, but let's play D&D for the next 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
let's have a 2-year long commitment where we see each other, you know, every other week or once a week or whatever.
And, like, let's say that you do commit to that, and then, you know, you find someone to commit to that, and then after a few sessions you realize, oh, I really don't like this person, and then you start flaking out on them. You're part of the problem.
Yeah, like I know people that, like, my first impression of them was fairly positive. I was like, wow, okay, this guy's actually kind of a cool, nice person. Now I cannot stand them, and I would rather they not exist. Like, you know, I'm obviously not wishing harm on them or anything, but I just, you know, if they just weren't around, that'd be great.
Yeah, if they just disappeared off the face of the earth and their family was left wondering what happened to them, yeah, maybe that'd be a good thing.
You know, I wouldn't necessarily want, you know, their family to be upset because I don't know their family.
Right.
But it's just like, hey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard. Like, there isn't really a good solution because, yeah, you might find someone that you're good friends with them and you feel like, yeah, man, I would love to, it would be great to make a long D&D commitment with this person. And then you find out, oh, I don't like them as a D&D player. I've talked in the past about my friend Nick. I was friends with him for many years. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but, like, we were childhood friends, and, you know, we rubbed each other the wrong way sometimes as friends. But then when we started playing D&D, I found myself getting unreasonably annoyed with him because of things that he did while playing D&D, and that's not good either.
Yeah, no, I thought Nick was a really great guy, like, but he had some habits in his D&D playing that was like, oh, really, dude?
Yeah, yeah, I know, and I mean, everybody has those, so it is a difficult job to find someone who their little personality wrinkles align with your own personality wrinkles, so they're less of a problem. And also that person plays D&D, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't think that there is a good solution. I wish we had one. I wish I could be like, oh, it's really easy. Here's do this, and do this.
Gabe. we could make the argument that it is easier to find a soulmate than it is to find a D&D group.
Oh boy. I mean, you're kind of looking for 5 or 6 soulmates.
Right. You know, it's like, you know, like I've definitely found the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And as of you, like, you know, we're both in long-term committed relationships, and we just can't find a, you know, we just can't find a D&D group that we're able to spend time with.
Yeah. I will fully admit though, like, at least in my own gaming career, I have been the problem in a lot of the cases. Sure. I'm often the person that does not want to commit to a long commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. Same case with me. Like, there are plenty of times where I have a perfectly good, group going on, and I'm just like session day comes around and I'm just not feeling it, or something else comes up or whatever.
Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have to leave this one at that. I don't know what a good solution is. Just try to focus on yourself. You can only change how you feel. You can't change how other people feel. Try to change what your expectations are for a quote unquote full campaign. And I think that will prove very beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, and we touched on this topic before too, and a lot of it is just like scheduling, and as people get older, they get more responsibilities and have less free time.
Sure.
And I think it's not just our age, but our generation and like just the way things are,
Okay.
Like, just as like culture changes, technology changes.
Yeah. Now there's Netflix. There wasn't Netflix 15 years ago.
Exactly. Like little things like that can like eat into your time,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, sorry, Jeff T. We don't have anything more concrete, but
yeah, but
I don't think there is.
If I think of something, I'll let you know at the next Jeff meeting.
There you go.
All right. Our next question comes from BeanBear6 on Reddit, and they ask, is there a D&D equivalent of a summoner from the Final Fantasy games?
It's a great name, I just want to say.
Bean Bear?
BeanBear6. Yeah. So to answer this question, first, another question needs to be asked, and that is, which Final Fantasy summoner are you talking about?
Sure, that's true.
Because in the early Final Fantasy games, a summoner, basically, they just had big AoE attacks. Like,
right, yeah.
They basically were just casting fireball.
Instead of a fireball, you summon Ifrit. He does a fireball attack and then disappears or something.
Yeah. And then in later games, you summon a creature that hangs around and fights alongside you or in place of you or whatever. There are, of course, the druid class, and even wizards can do this, where you can like summon creatures. There's a druid archetype that I think gives you can summon like 20 things or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's what people think of when they think of a summoner class, because a summoner in Final Fantasy isn't summoning like a whole bunch of squirrels.
Although that'd be pretty good,
I guess. There is in Pathfinder, which is, close to 5th edition D&D, but different. And I would have to see if Pathfinder 2.0 has this class. I'm actually not sure if it's been made in Pathfinder 2.0 yet. But in Pathfinder, there is a class called Summoner, where in addition to creating your character, you create a summon. Like you have a sort of a secondary character that has abilities based on your level in the Summoner class, called your Eidolon. And you can customize that character pretty well. And then that character, I think, is closer to what a lot of people are thinking of when they think of summoners in Final Fantasy. You do summon a big creature that does fight alongside you and has special abilities and whatnot. But even still, that's more of like a permanent sidekick rather than you summon a thing and then it fights and then disappears. So even that's not really perfect.
Yeah. It is sort of, I don't know. I feel like it's tough to make something like this that is going to be balanced and then also unique mechanically, not just unique in its flavor, but like unique mechanically. Because like, if it's like the Eidolon thing where you're making this, this creature that like has all these weird like abilities and stuff based on how you level it up. And it's like, well, why not just make a class that you just become that instead? Yeah. Or like, a class that gives you those abilities.
Sure.
So that could just, you could, like there's a lot of ideas for a summoner that you could just like, well, I could just reflavor this as that, like it's really, it's not too far off. Like the druid thing, it's like, you could just say like, oh, I'm a summoner. Yeah. You are a druid in the books, but like you say like, no, I summon things, like I'm a summoner. And I think the archetype in 5th edition is the Circle of the Shepherd.
I think so, yeah.
Which like I think I remember looking into that, and it doesn't sound super great, but then again, I never really think about summoning animals or whatever. Like summoning spells I don't tend to use too much because it's a lot of work. And that's the other thing is like it's tough to make a summoner class because it usually just ends up being more work for everybody because you have more things in the initiative.
Yeah, and this is kind of the case with all spellcasters, but like you also don't want to make a class that their turn is going to take 3 times as long as anybody else's turn.
Yeah.
You want to be courteous to everybody else at the table. Everybody wants to have their time to shine, and if every encounter, half or more of the battle is you sitting there and being like, okay, and then I summon this creature is going to move, it's going to use this ability, then I'm going to have this creature move and use this ability, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I would probably just reskin a bunch of other, like I would find some other thing that I would reskin. Maybe if you're playing a barbarian, you could reskin your rage as you are summoning another creature that like melds with your form, and now instead of you fighting the bad guy, now Ifrit is fighting the bad guy.
Yeah, or if you're a wild shaping druid, you're not changing into it. Well, you're not, your form isn't changing, you're summoning this thing that takes your place or whatever.
Sure. And then maybe you become immaterial or whatever. There are ways to work with your dungeon master to come up with a way that feels good and works mechanically.
Yeah. But, again, when somebody, asks a question like, how would you make this class or whatever, which like, I'm always sort of thinking about that, like, coming up with new classes because it's neat. Like you want something that is going to be different and unique. Like, I don't want to just be summoning animals. No, I want to summon a demon or something. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like,
sure.
I don't like, animals are animals. Like they don't do anything other than attack, like there's not really a whole lot you can do with animals. I'm sure you can get creative, but like, sure. I want to summon a demon that has like, spells and spell-like abilities, or like, I want to summon something that has fire breath or like a poison, like a poison spray or something, like a little bit more, variety in the utility in the things that you can do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So again, it kind of depends on your definition of like which Final Fantasy summoner you're talking about. And depending on which one you're talking about, it could be as simple as just, I just cast Fireball, but I reskin it as I'm summoning Ifrit, and Ifrit is shooting a bunch of fire everywhere, or something like that. If you're willing to play a different rule set, you could play Pathfinder. Pathfinder, at least the first edition, does have something that is quite a bit closer to this.
You know what I would like to see, thinking about Final Fantasy classes? Is it the Blue Mage? Is that the one that like replicates monster abilities?
Yes. Blue Mages are awesome.
Yeah, I think that might be really freaking neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and are red mages? What are red mages?
Red mages have both white and black magic.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Like, I kind of want to play like Final Fantasy Tactics or something now.
Sure.
What a great game.
It is a very good game. So yeah, I don't really have a super satisfying answer for this one either. It's kind of what's going on this episode.
That's the theme.
Yeah. But I don't know. There are a few ways to do something similar. It's just a question of exactly what it is you're looking for. So good luck to anybody who is trying to come up with a Final Fantasy summoner. There's ways to do it, but you'll have to use your own interpretation, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for our regular questions for today, but we do still have our social media questions. Last social media question that we did was, if you could become proficient in any D&D skill or tool being the important part, what would it be?
I think I said just like thieves' tools, because like that's going to have a lot of application, not just like being like a thief or anything like that. I'm not that kind of a person, but or, get locked out of your house or your car or something.
Sure.
It'd be real nice to be able to just whip out the little thieves' tools thing, just pick a lock and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's lots of practical applications about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I said there's practical and then there's interesting. Practical would be something like athletics.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Helpful. But then interesting would be like Arcana. I would love to know how magic works in a world without magic.
Right. Yeah. Like you have a really high Arcana skill, and that the only knowledge that gives you is that there is no magic.
I love it.
But definitively that there is no magic. You don't have to wonder anymore.
Yeah. Small tangent. So TV show Heroes is a TV show that I used to like for the first season and a half.
Right.
One of the main characters, his power is he can mimic other people's powers.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching that and thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, how do I know I don't already have that ability? I'm just in a world that people don't have powers to mimic.
Right. Yeah, you're the only person with powers, and that power is to steal other powers.
Exactly.
Dang it.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got a bunch of responses, and quite a few people were replying with things other than skills or tools. They were replying with like racial abilities, class abilities, and so on. I'm not saying those people were doing it wrong. Just that's not what
right.
That's not what the question was meant to be.
So we're gonna skip those ones for now.
I suppose, yeah. Over on Facebook, Kyle S. says, I think proficiency with a disguise kit would be fun. I could finally win that neighborhood Halloween costume contest.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's good.
Isla M says, if I could just stop rolling perception or insight at disadvantage, I would consider that a win.
Somebody with glasses, I guess.
Yep. Colin W says, forgery kit.
Okay.
See, similarly, that has nefarious uses. Also, be a painter. I imagine that would come in handy.
Right. Yeah. You're not necessarily like, because you can use other artworks as reference. So like if you're really good at forgery, you can take references from several different things and be like, and you know, people will just say like, oh, okay, this art is very derivative, but it's still your art. You know?
Sure. Sean M says persuasion or maybe tinker's tools. Depends on my current mood.
Mm-hmm.
Over on Reddit, Alistar the Minotaur says athletics. I have the metabolism of a sloth on heroin. Maybe if I was more athletic, I'd have more interest in going out for a jog. Probably not, though. No, I feel you. Over on Twitter, we just got a couple. Chris G says, Smith's tools and brewer's supplies. Nothing cooler than making swords to swing and brewing mead and beer to swill.
Yep.
And then that's Carl with a K says, Smith's tools. I love the idea of being a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Over on Discord, we got a few. Stiltskin Kupo 84 says, definitely blacksmithing and blacksmith tools. Not extremely necessary for the life I typically lead, but I would feel so much better knowing that if the end was nigh, I could always make my own guns, swords, armor, and shields.
Sure, yeah. You know, it could have some like survival practical uses, like being able to actually shape metal and stuff.
Sure. Joe S. says, Tinker's tools. Making little clockwork things would be amazing. Clockwork ladybug pocket watch? Sure. Clockwork whirligig? Yep.
Okay, I can't have too many whirligigs.
I guess. Dustin says, I would love to master the calligrapher's supplies. I have attempted to marginal success to learn basic calligraphy in the past. I would love to be able to create manuscripts on vellum that stand the test of time. Imagine how impressive a handwritten resume would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I would love to do calligraphy. If I was proficient in calligrapher's tools, everything, I would find excuses to write things just so that I could calligraphize them.
Our friend Bridget can write in Elvish.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if she is still practicing it, but she was really good at it and she would write it all the time.
I think one of the rewards for her Kickstarter was like she'll write you a note in Elvish or something.
Oh, right. Yes, that's right. I think I have one of those coming to me actually.
Oh, cool. And we just got a couple more on Discord. The Beverage Tea says athletics. That way, even with my strength 8 dad bod, I'd still be fit. And then one more, Autumn Wind says, Smith's tools. I have several books on the subject, but I've had a few different apartments in the last few years. Hopefully I can build a forge soon. My stepdad has a pretty sweet setup in his workshop. So yeah, there you go. Thank you everybody who answered. So that was our last social media question. The next social media question, kind of rounding out, because we did last week, if you could have any racial ability. This one's rounding that out. If you could have any D&D class ability, what would you choose? And I know that there's probably going to be someone who's like, oh, I'd like to have Wish. Okay. So would we all.
I mean, like, if you're saying class ability, you could just say, like, spellcasting.
Spellcasting, yeah.
You know,
interpret it however you want. If it means that people respond with wish, fine. I brought it upon myself.
Sure. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, I would want, full class spellcasting so I could eventually get wish. But
sure.
There are more. I feel like there's more interesting stuff. Like, shapeshifting would be really cool. Like, being able to do shapeshifting from like a druid or something, like being able to turn into, a small critter and like sneak away out of an awkward situation.
Sure.
Oh, Gabe, you could turn into a hawk if things get hawkward and fly away.
Oh boy, Jeff.
Gabe, all right, that's my answer.
Well, it was it's been a nice run. We've had 167 episodes. I did something like that last episode. I put in the ending music about 10 minutes early.
We're just gonna have that joke every episode now. Actually, I think shapeshifting would be pretty high on the top of high on the list because off the top of my head I can't really think of too many ideas for this, but because I'm sure I could come up with something. But
there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, but I think definitely high on the list is shapeshifting because you get a lot of utility. So like if I wanted to fly, I could turn into a bird and fly. If I wanted to be able to breathe underwater, I could turn into a fish or something.
Sure.
So like there's dangers with that because then people value your life a lot less if you're an animal. So
I suppose so.
So like if I'm a person walking down the road, no one's just gonna be like, well, I could swerve my car.
I guess.
But if I was a squirrel or something, they'd be like, well, that squirrel is going to have to learn his lesson.
That squirrel's worth 100 points.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so I would probably say there is a lot to choose from. Sure, spellcasting would be nice. Wild shape would be pretty cool. But I think what first comes to mind is pretty much any of like the monk abilities. Offhand, I don't recall what this one is in 5th edition, but in 3rd edition, I really liked the monk's slow fall ability.
Yeah.
I just thought like that's such a cool ability. Anytime you're within reach of a wall, you can fall, a specific amount of distance, and eventually you can fall any distance as long as you're able to like touch a wall.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool. That's such a cool visual. And so
it's like super parkour.
Sure.
There was, I forget if it was a full class or a prestige class. I think it was a full class in 3.5 Ninja, where you like at a certain point you had, it wasn't like spider climb or anything like that. You didn't have a climb speed, but if you ended your movement on a horizontal, like on a flat surface, you could basically move up any wall.
That's cool.
Like, so you could climb up a wall and like using your movement speed, but like if you ended your movement on the wall, you would fall.
I see.
With I think you got slow fall like in the same way, but like the idea is that like if I if that building is 30 feet high and I have 30 feet of movement, I start on the ground and end on the roof. Yeah. In that 30 feet of movement, that's fine. Like I make it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love an ability like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm excited to see what some people say about that one. So that'll do it for our questions for this week. But before we close out, we do still we need to sit back. We need to relax. Relax, Jeff. Relax.
Oh gosh.
Let's take a deep breath. Let's remember those who have come before us, who have paved the way that we may have cool class abilities and that, we whatever else we talked about today as we toss another log onto the funeral pyre. Today's funeral pyre was submitted by Fuzzy Sparkle Monk on Reddit. Not my character, but my friend's. He was playing a chaotic neutral rogue, which is a good start, and during a home invasion, he killed a child in cold blood to prevent her from screaming.
Oh dear.
It's not a good start. A while later, his character has to enter the House of Heroes, a consecrated temple to honor heroes and such. But the gods deem him evil rather than neutral, disintegrate him, and send him to the abyss as soon as he steps foot inside. Apparently, the player had expressed a desire to play a different character, so the DM obliged. A while later, the same character comes back as the Demon Lord's sponsor to the resurrected child that he killed. His time in the Abyss worked as punishment, and he repented for his evil ways. The child then joined our party as a way for the demon to show that not all demons are bad. And that's not the end of the story, because there is an edit here. By the way, the kid got eaten by a boulette, and we finished the campaign before we got high enough level to resurrect.
Oh, no.
So this is not actually, because this could be a retirement village for the rogue who then became a demon. It's not. It's about the kid who got killed by a rogue, brought back to life, and then eaten.
And then eaten by a land shark.
Yes. So,
no.
So let's raise a glass in memory of this unnamed kid who got a second chance, maybe needed a third.
Clink.
All right, that'll do it for today. To submit questions for us to discuss, items for the Dragon's Hoard, or stories for the Funeral Pyre, please email us at interpartyconflict@gmail.com. For show notes, links to media mentioned on the show, and running lists of questions and magic items, go to interpartyconflict.com. You can join the discussion on social media. We are on Facebook. We are on Reddit. We have an Interparty Discord. We have a Twitter @InPartyConflict. For our weekly social media questions, your answers might end up on the show. Find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, YouTube. We're also on Spotify and iHeartRadio now. Anywhere you download podcasts, please rate, review, subscribe, or just tell a friend. If you'd like to support the show, check out the rewards at patreon.com/interpartyconflict. We have a few different tiers. Anything you can spare, even $1 a month, would go towards making the show better, and you'll get bonus content. Jeff, tell us about FriendQuest.
FriendQuest is a YouTube channel where we play video games.
Cool. Speaking of video games, check out my side project, the Arcade Memories Podcast. If you'd like to submit any childhood memories of your own of going to the arcade, you can record them and send them to me at arcadememoriespodcast@gmail.com. Also, head over to bit.ly/interpartyconflict to take a short survey about our show. What you like, what you don't like, etc. And just for taking it, you'll get 2 free printable board games courtesy of Mary and Tom over at hollandspiel.com. And our music is made by Boxcat Games from Nameless the Hacker's RPG. So, Jeff, until next time.
Oh crap! I don't have anything for this one.
And he was never seen again.